All right, hello everyone, welcome back. So in this video today, we're going to find all the solutions of the equation in the interval in between 0 and 2 pi. The equation that they give us is in parentheses 2 sine x minus the square root of 3 times in parentheses 2 cosine x minus the square root of 3 equals 0. So now that we have our equation up in parentheses 2 sine x minus the square root of 3 times in parentheses 2 cosine x minus the square root of 3 equals 0. Now we want to separate both parts in that equation into two separate equations to make this more manageable. When we do that, what we will come out to have is 2 sine x minus the square root of 3 equals 0, and a separate equation 2 cosine x minus the square root of 3 equals 0. First, let's deal with 2 sine x minus the square root of 3 equals 0. Now, we need to get sine x on one side by itself. So, what we do is we add the square root of 3 to both sides. With positive square root of 3 and negative square root of 3 canceling out, and square root of 3 plus 0, which will leave square root of 3, which leaves us with the new equation 2 sine x equals square root of 3. Now remember that I said we need to get sine x on one side by itself. So we have 2 sine x equals the square root of 3. We need to divide both sides by 2. Now 2 sine x over 2, both 2's cancel out, leaving us sine x equals the square root of 3 over 2. Remember that we still have the equation 2 cosine x minus the square root of 3 equals 0. So now we have to deal with that equation. So we're going to start by getting cosine x on one side by itself. And to do that, we need to add the square root of 3 on both sides. On the left side, both square root of 3 positive and square root of 3 negative cancel out, as well as 0 plus the square root of 3 will just leave us with the square root of 3. So the new equation that we have is 2 cosine x equals the square root of 3. But remember, we need cosine of x by itself. So what we need to do is we need to divide 2 cosine x by 2 and the square root of 3 by 2. Both 2's will end up canceling out, leaving us with cosine x equals the square root of 3 over 2. Now we need to pull up our unit circle. Cosine is the x value, so we need to find positive square root of 3 over 2 for the x value. And we can see that at pi over 6, and we can also see that at 11 pi over 6. Sine is the y coordinate, so we need to find positive 3 pi over 2 in the y coordinate. We can see that at pi over 3 and 2 pi over 3. So now we can enter pi over 6, comma 11 pi over 6, comma pi over 3, comma 2 pi over 3. And there you go. That's your answer. As always, if you liked this video or you found this video helpful, go and hit that like button. You can also hit that subscribe button to see my latest videos. Thank you, and until next time.